Hello students. So in the last lecture we have seen vector atom model and related quantum numbers. In vector atom model, you know that we have seen two very important concepts, that is the concept of the space quantization and the spinning electron hypothesis, right? So according to the concept of the space quantization, all the atomic orbits and all the quantities which are related to the electron in an atom are quantized not only in terms of magnitude but also in terms of directions, right? And according to the spin electron hypothesis, every electron has got the spin in addition to the orbital angular momentum, right? And because of the introduction of the spin, there will be the generation of spin angular momentum and spin magnetic moments, right? So this is the way we have seen that we can understand the state of the electron as a whole by studying this phenomena, right? And after studying these two very important concepts, we realize that some additional quantum numbers are required in order to study the complete state of the electron as a whole. So what are the quantum numbers which are required to state the complete state of the electron? So we have seen that we require a principal quantum number n, we require orbital quantum number L, then we require spin quantum number denoted by s, small s, and then we require total angular momentum quantum number J. And if that particular atom or the electronic orbit is in the magnetic field, then we require additional 3 quantum numbers because of the magnetic field, and these quantum numbers are denoted by ML, MS and MJ, where ML is called as the orbital magnetic quantum number, MS is called as the spin magnetic quantum number, and MJ is called as the total magnetic quantum number, right? And what are the allowed values of these quantum numbers? We know that the allowed value for n ranges from 1 to infinity, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc., etc. The allowed values for L is given by 0 to n minus 1. The allowed values for S is only 1, that is half. The allowed values for J is L plus minus S. When L and S are parallel, then L plus S we have to take, and when they are anti-parallel, we have to take L minus S. What about ML, orbital magnetic quantum number? So ML can have 2L plus 1 values. It can have 2L plus 1 values ranging from minus L to plus L, including 0. Right? What about MS? MS can have only 2 values, that is plus 1 by 2 and minus 1 by 2. So these are the allowed values for MS. And what about MJ? So MJ can take 2J plus 1 values ranging from minus J to plus J, excluding 0, right? So these are the quantum numbers and these are the allowed values of the quantum number. Now if we have an atom, okay, if we have an atom and it contains some electron, then in order to find out the total state of the atom as a whole, we have to first find out the quantum numbers associated with each electron, right? Each electron means we have to find out the quantum numbers associated with each electron. Then we have to combine these quantum numbers of all the electrons in order to find out the total state of the atom as a whole. So if you want to visualize, we can visualize, suppose that there is a nucleus and suppose this is the electronic orbit and it has got electron, okay, and we want to find out what is the state of this electron or what are the properties of this electron. Now in order to find out the complete state or complete properties of the electron in an atom, what we need to do, we need to know all the quantum numbers associated with it, this particular electron. So if suppose this particular electron or the atom is not in the magnetic field, then how many quantum numbers we require? We primarily require only these 4 quantum numbers, okay. So in which orbit this particular electron is revolving, if we know this particular information, we have the information for n. What about L? So this particular electron will have some orbital angular momentum and its quantum number will be denoted by L vector, right? It will have some spin angular momentum and its quantum number will be denoted by S. Now this S and L, they will interact and they will form a total angular momentum of an electron denoted by J. So if an atom has only one electron, it will have one L, one S and one J vector, okay, and these vectors again they will interact with each other. So whatever will be the state of the electron, that state of the electron will be given by these quantum numbers, and whatever is the state of the electron, since there is only single electron in that particular atom, the state of the electron means what? It is the state of the atom as a whole, right? Now this is the case where only one electron is there. Suppose that additional one electron is there, okay, suppose this is electron number 1 and this is electron number 2, then what will happen? This electron will have this orbital angular momentum quantum number. Now we will denote this by L1, okay. It will have spin angular momentum quantum number, we will denote it by S1, and it will have total angular momentum quantum number, we will denote it by J1. Now similar things will take place for this electron also. This electron will also have some orbital angular momentum quantum number, suppose it is denoted by L2. This electron will have some spin angular momentum quantum number, it is suppose denoted by S2, and this electron will have again a total angular momentum quantum number denoted by J2. So these are the quantum numbers for electron number 1, these are the quantum numbers or quantum vectors for electron number 2. Now all these vectors will again interact, okay, they will again interact, they will create some resultant, and that resultant quantum numbers will denote the complete state of the atom as a whole, because this atom now is containing 2 electrons. If there are 3 electrons, then okay, there will be the L3, S2 and J3, L3, S3 and J3, again they will interact with all others and will generate some resultant one, right? So in this way we have to find out the total state of the atom as a whole, right? So in order to find out the total state of the atom as a whole, we need to find out first what are the quantum numbers associated with each electron, and then we have to find out the resultant quantum numbers because of the interaction between these electrons. Now in order to find out the resultant quantum numbers or resultant vector or resultant interaction between these electrons, individual electrons, there are several schemes, okay. There are several rules or schemes by which these quantum numbers interact with each other, or these momenta and angular momentum interact with each other. These schemes are called as coupling schemes. So we have to study the interaction between the quantum numbers of different electrons under the heading coupling schemes. So let us start this coupling scheme. Coupling schemes. Now what are the different coupling schemes, or what are the different ways by which these quantum numbers of different electrons interact with each other? So there are primarily 2 important coupling schemes. One is called as LS coupling. LS coupling or Russell-Saunders coupling schemes. LS coupling scheme or LS scheme, right? So this is one of the scheme by which the interaction between the quantum numbers can be determined, and another important coupling scheme is JJ scheme, JJ coupling scheme, JJ coupling scheme. All right. So out of this, let us first discuss what is meant by LS coupling. So just now you will imagine the previous example which we have considered. So suppose that this is a nucleus and there are so many electrons, okay, 3 electrons, 4 electrons and so on. So the first electron will have quantum numbers L1, it will have S1 and it will have J1. Similarly there will be L2, there will be S2, there will be J2. We will not consider this J1 and J2. This is the resultant of these two, okay. So there will be again L3, there will be S3 and so on, L4, S4, etc., etc. So for many electron system, what will happen in some of the atomic species is that several L vectors, okay, several L vectors, suppose this is L vector of this electron, this is L vector of this electron, this is L vector of this electron. So several L vectors, they will interact first and they will find out, or they will create the resultant L vector of the atom, okay. So several L vectors of each electron. So in this case L1 plus L2 plus L3 plus dash, whatever L vectors are there, all these L vectors first they will interact and they will form resultant capital L vector, which is the total, which is the orbital angular momentum vector of an atom, okay. So they will form the resultant L vector first. Then what will happen? several s vector will interact, several s vector of individual electron will interact, okay, and they will form the resultant s vector, resultant capital S vector of the atom. Once the resultant L vector and resultant S vector is formed, then this L vector and S vector of the atom, they will interact and they will create the resultant J vector of the atom. They will create the resultant J vector of the atom. So the atomic species in which the interaction of such type exists, such a coupling scheme are called as a ELS coupling scheme or Russell-Saunders coupling scheme. Okay. Now what are the guiding principles of this particular coupling scheme? So we know that whatever new vectors are formed now, this capital L, capital S and capital J, these all the three vectors are quantized vectors. Okay, all these three vectors are quantized. So L, S and J are quantized in terms of magnitude also and in terms of direction also, right? So L, S and J, these are quantized. Now what about the L value now? We know that the L1, L2, L3 and so on, all these orbital angular momentum vectors, they will have integer values always, 0 to n minus 1. Okay, so after addition of all these values, we will get only the integer value. So in all these quantum numbers, this L vector or L quantum number will always have integer values, will always have integer values. What about S vector? Now see, this is very important. The individual value of S1, S2, S3, these are all half. Okay, the value of this S1 is half, value of this S2 is also half, etc., etc. So when you add, remember that this is not a normal addition, this is a vector addition. So sometimes you have to add arithmetic addition, sometimes you have to perform arithmetic addition, or sometimes you have to perform arithmetic subtraction, which is nothing but one type of vector addition, right? So when you add all these S vectors, sometimes you may get integer value, sometimes you may get non-integer value. Okay, so this S vector, capital S vector, which is the total spin quantum number of the atom as a whole, sometimes it will be half integer, or sometimes it will be integer. Now when it will be half integer, when this capital S is half. Okay, this, whether this S will be half integer or integer, that will depend on the number of electrons in that particular atom. So how this will take place? So let us see by example. Suppose that we have only one electron. Okay, suppose in an atom we have only one electron, then S vector is given by 1 by 2. So this S is nothing but capital S, which is nothing but the spin vector of the atom as a whole, and it will be equal to 1 by 2. Okay, now suppose that our atom has two electrons. So this is S1 and the another electron will have S2, and it is again given by half value. It will have the value equal to half. Then how they will interact? Because they have to interact to give the resultant S vector of the atom as a whole. So how they will interact? See, now S vector, capital S vector will be equal to S1 plus S2. Now this is a vector addition. So sometimes if S1 and S2 they are parallel, then there will be plus, and if they are anti-parallel, then there will be the minus sign. So for parallel combination, 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2, it will be equal to 1, and for anti-parallel combination, 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2, it will be equal to 0. So the allowed value for S are this 1 and 0. When there are two electrons in an atom, the allowed value for capital S is 1 and 0. Okay, what if there are 3 electrons? Suppose there are 3 electrons, S equal to again 1 by 2. So capital S will be equal to S1 plus S2 plus S3. Again remember that this is the vector addition. So in case of this vector addition, what will happen? Sometimes it may happen that you see, what will be the meaning of this 1 and 0? S equal to 1 and 0. When S is equal to 1, we say that both the electrons are parallel, and when S is equal to 0, we say that both the electrons are anti-parallel. So for parallel combination, we may denote their spin of the electron like this, and for anti-parallel combination, we may denote the spin of the electron like this. So here S is equal to 1 and here it will be 0. Now if there are 3 electrons, then what will happen? It may happen that all the 3 electrons are oriented in the same direction. Okay, they have the spin oriented in the same direction. So in this case, what will happen? Half plus half plus half, so we will get 3 by 2. And another possibility is that two of the electron will be oriented in the same direction and the third electron will be oriented in the anti-parallel direction. Okay, so in this case, this spin will be cancelled and there will be only single spin, so its spin quantum number will be denoted by half. Okay, so you see plus half and plus half 1, and there will be the minus half, so 1 minus half, again there will be half only. So the value for S for 3 electron systems are 3 by 2 and 1 by 2. What if there are the 4 electrons? It may happen that all the 4 electrons may be oriented in the same, may have the same direction of spin. So the value of S will be equal to half plus half plus half plus half, that is 2. And in some of the case, what may happen is that 3 electrons are in the same direction and 1 electron is in the opposite direction. So the spin of this electron will be cancelled by spin of this electron, and we will have the effective spin given by these 2 electrons only, and half plus half is nothing but 1. So this is the one of the possibility. And another possibility, what may happen? So 2 electron have the parallel spin and 2 electron have the anti-parallel spin. So in this case, the total spin quantum number will be equal to 0. So for 4 electron systems, the allowed values for capital S is 2, 1, 0. So in this way, you have to obtain what is the total spin quantum number of the atom as a whole, if there are number of electrons. So depending on the number of electrons, the value of S will be sometimes integer or will be sometimes half integer. So depending on the value of S, now what we can say about the total quantum number of an atom as a whole? So J can be half integer or the integer. Okay, when it will be half integer? It will be half integer when S is half integer, and it will be integer when S is integer. So whether J should have a integral value or half integral value, that will depend on the value of capital S. Okay, so in this way, L, S and J, they will have a different sets of values. Okay, one more thing, this J, this indicates the total angular momentum quantum number of an atom as a whole. This J can have 2 S plus 1 values. This J can have 2 S plus 1 values when L is greater than S. Okay, or it can have 2L plus 1 values when L is less than S. Okay, so J can have either 2S plus 1 values or it can have 2L plus 1 values. Now this quantity, this is very important quantity, 2S plus 1, this quantity is called as multiplicity of an atom. Multiplicity of an atom or multiplicity factor. It is simply called as a multiplicity factor. Multiplicity factor. Now what it will tell us, if you know the multiplicity factor about this particular energy level, then what it will indicate? It will indicate that the given L state will split up into how many states. Okay, it will, this particular factor will tell us that given L state will split up into how many J states. Okay, so if S is equal to half, if an atom has only one electron, okay, then it will have only single S vector, that is given by half, and this S vector will form again the total spin quantum number of the atom as a whole, because it is only having one electron. So this will be equal to capital S. Now capital S is equal to half, it means that 2 into 1 by 2, so that will be 1, 1 plus 1, it is equal to 2. So it tells us that the given L state will split up into the 2 states. Okay, because what are the allowed values for J? J will be having L plus S or L minus S. L plus S, or J will have either L plus S values or L minus S values, right? So if L is equal to 0, for example, or suppose that if L is equal to 1, okay, for a particular atomic species, if L is equal to 1, then 1 plus half is 3 by 2 and 1 minus half is 1 by 2. So you see, L equal to 1, we have assumed L equal to 1. L equal to 1 state has split up into 2 values, 3 by 2 and 1 by 2. So multiplicity factor is, since the multiplicity factor is 2, this particular L state has split up into the two values. So this is not to be remembered very much, but this is actually beyond your scope of the syllabus. I am just discussing since it is very important related to the explaining of the spectral lines of an atom. Okay, so just remember that multiplicity factor will tell us that the given L state will split up into how many states. Okay, so this is about the LS type of coupling. Now there is another type of coupling scheme which is called as a JJ coupling. JJ coupling scheme. Now what is expected in this JJ coupling scheme? So in case of JJ coupling scheme, what will happen? In case of LS coupling scheme, we have seen that this orbital quantum number interacts with this orbital quantum numbers of every electron will interact first and they will form the resultant orbital quantum number of an atom, and the spin quantum number of individual electron will interact first and they will form the resultant spin quantum number of an atom. But in some of the atomic spaces, what will happen, that this spin orbit interaction, this is a spin and this is a orbital. So this spin orbit interaction is so strong that for multi-electron system, the spin and orbital quantum number, they will interact first. So for the electron 1, the orbital quantum number is denoted by S1 and the spin quantum number is denoted by, orbital quantum number is denoted by L1 and the spin quantum number is denoted by S1. So they will interact first and they will form the resultant J1 vector, resultant total angular momentum vector of an electron. So they will interact first and they will form resultant J1 vector. Now the orbital angular momentum of the second electron, it will interact first with the spin angular momentum of the second electron and it will generate the total angular momentum of the second electron. Okay, so L2 will interact with S2 and it will generate J2. Similarly L3 will interact with S3 and it will generate J3. Similarly L4 will interact with S4 and it will generate J4, and so on. Okay, so what will happen symbolically, how we can represent? We can represent this as L1 plus S1 will be creating J1, L2 plus S2 will be creating J2, L3 plus S3 will be creating J3, and after having obtained the values of J1, J2, J3, this J1, J2, J3, J4, they will interact to obtain resultant J vector of an atom. So in this way the total quantum number or total angular momentum quantum number of an atom is obtained. So first there is spin orbit interaction which is very strong, and after the spin orbit interaction there is total angular momentum interaction. Of individual electrons. So the interaction, such a type of interaction will be taking place in some of the atomic spaces, and such a type of interaction is called as a JJ coupling. Okay, so in most of the atomic spaces this LS coupling is only dominant, but in some of the atomic spaces this JJ coupling is also there. Okay, all right. So we have seen vector atom model, the concepts of vector atom model. Then we have realized that okay, there are certain more quantum numbers required to study the state of the electron. After that we have also seen that how the quantum number, different quantum numbers of different electrons are interacting with these two particular coupling schemes. Okay, once we know all this, what will happen? We have now obtained several energy levels. Since we are now having a lot of information about the quantum numbers, it means that we are now knowing more about the energy levels, how this particular energy levels is splitting into more number of energy levels that we are knowing because of the additional quantum numbers. Now these additional quantum numbers will certainly indicate the existence of different energy levels. Now there will be a transition from one energy level to the another energy level. So there may be, when electron will jump from different energy level to another energy level, it will generate the photon, it will emit some radiation. Now it will indicate the existence of the transitions. For example, suppose that we have these particular energy levels and again these energy levels. Okay, so the electron may jump from this energy level to this energy level to this energy level to this energy level to this. Okay, so the existence of energy levels indicates that there are the transitions which are possible. but we have already seen in the previous lectures in the Sommerfeld atomic theory and so on, okay, that all transitions, though it seems that electron should jump from one energy level to the another energy level, all transitions are not allowed. Okay, so there are certain allowed transitions and there are certain forbidden transitions which are not possible because of the quantum mechanics, right? So in order to see that which transitions are allowed and which transitions are not allowed, there are some selection rules. Okay, there are some selection rules. So let us now see what are the selection rules for the transitions or for the allowed transitions. Selection rules. Okay, so in order to find out the complete state of atom, we know that we require capital L vector, which is the state of atom as a whole. We require capital S vector and we also require capital J vector. Okay, now they will indicate different energy levels, and whether every energy levels will emit the allowed transitions or not, that existence will be indicated by this selection rule. So what is the selection rule for S? Sorry, what is the selection rule for L? So only those transition will be allowed for which delta L is equal to plus minus 1. So when L vector changes by either plus 1 or minus 1, those transitions will only be allowed in an atomic species. Remaining transitions will not be allowed. Okay, so this is the selection rule for L. Then there is a selection rule for J. Selection rule for J is delta J will be equal to plus minus 1 or 0. So only those transitions will be allowed for which delta J will be equal to plus 1 or minus 1, or it will be equal to 0. However, 0 to 0 transition is not allowed. 0 to 0 transition is not allowed. Now there is again selection rule for capital S. So only those transitions are allowed for which delta S will be equal to 0. For which delta S will be equal to 0. So we will see the application of this, then only you will be able to understand these quantum numbers or these selection rules. Okay. So only those transitions will be allowed for which delta S will be equal to 0. So just remember these selection rules, because after applying these selection rules only we will be able to know which are the allowed transitions and which are the not allowed transitions or forbidden transitions. Now these are the general quantum numbers we know, but when the atomic species is placed in the magnetic field, then additional quantum numbers are also required. So there will be selection rule for now ML. So we will denote it by ML, MS and MJ. So selection rule for ML will be delta ML will be equal to plus minus 1 or 0. So only those transitions will be allowed for which delta ML is equal to either plus 1 or minus 1, or it will be equal to 0. What about delta MS? So only those transitions will be allowed for which delta MS is equal to 0. Okay, only those transitions will be allowed for which delta MS will be equal to 0. And there will be the selection rule for MJ, that only those transitions are allowed for which delta MJ is equal to plus minus 1 or 0. Plus minus 1 or 0. So these are the selection rules for magnetic quantum numbers, and these are the selection rules for general quantum numbers. Okay. So once all these selection rules are satisfied, then only we can say that the given transition will occur in that particular atomic species or will be forbidden in that particular species. Okay. So these are the coupling schemes and selection rules. Now, although it is not included in your syllabus, it is now very important to discuss the origin of the hyperfine structure of H alpha line, because all this we have started studying the different atomic models and all is only because why a particular atomic species emit particular type of radiation. Okay, so for that particular explanation we have studied Rutherford atomic model. Okay, starting from Thomson's atomic model we have studied Rutherford, then Bohr. Okay, then according to the Bohr, a single energy level will emit only single radiation, but that is not the case. Okay, so when the hyperfine structure was discovered, okay, then Sommerfeld entered and he tried to explain, but he could not explain. He could only explain the hyperfine structure of H alpha line very partially. Okay, out of 5 transitions only 3 could be explained, and in order to explain this fine structure completely we have discussed this vector atom model. okay, and all the selection rules and coupling schemes and all that. So let us now once again revisit the hyperfine structure of H alpha line. So up till now we have already known that this H alpha line have 5 different spectral lines, okay. So we have to explain whether after knowing all this set of quantum numbers, whether we are now able to explain the fine structure of H alpha line, then only this particular topic will be complete. So H alpha line, okay. So how the H alpha line are originating? So it is the first line of the Balmer series, and it is emitting because of the transition of the electron from n equal to 3 to n equal to 2. Now let us apply the concept of the space quantization and vector atom model and new sets of quantum numbers to discuss this particular origin. Okay. Now we know that n equal to 2 is not the single energy level, okay, because when n equal to 2, we know that the allowed values of L is 0 and 1. So there will be the another level for L equal to 0 and another level for L equal to 1. So this has to be redesigned as like this. So this n equal to 2 level will be split up into 2 levels for now. For one energy level we will be having L equal to, or we will indicate here, okay, suppose this is L and okay, S and J, because we should know all the values of L vector, S vector and J vector of the individual electron, okay, because hydrogen atom, since this hyperfine structure of H alpha line is only for hydrogen atom, the hydrogen atom consists of only one electron. So whatever L1, S1 and J1 will be there, that will be equal to L, S and J, because it is a single electron system, okay. So n equal to 2 state or shell will have 2 orbitals. For one orbital L, value of L will be equal to 0, and for another orbital the value of L will be equal to 1. Now what about S? Since it is a single electron system, S will always be a half value, S will always be having a value equal to half. So we actually need not write this, okay. Since S will be always equal to half, we need not write this, okay, because that particular selection rules that delta S is equal to 0, that will always be satisfied, okay. Now what will be the value of J? Now we have already told you that there is a multiplicity factor. There is a multiplicity factor denoted by 2s plus 1. Now in case of hydrogen atom, this S is equal to half. So 2 into half, that is equal to 1, and 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. So every state will split up into 2 states except the lowest state, and lowest state indicates that L equal to 0. So the state for which L is equal to 0, that state will not be split up into 2, but remaining all the states will split up into 2, because the value of S will be equal to 1 by 2. Now why this state will not split up into 2? Okay, why? We know that the possible values of J will be given by L plus or minus S. Now value of L is equal to here 0, and value of S is equal to half. So 0 plus half is equal to plus half, and 0 minus half is equal to minus half, because sometimes we have to take minus sign when these vectors are antiparallel. But we cannot associate negative value for the total angular momentum quantum number, because atom as a whole cannot have negative angular momentum. So that is nonsense, right? So we have to discard this particular value, and therefore what is said that whenever there is a lowest state, that lowest state will always be a single energy level, okay. That lowest state, that means that the state with L equal to 0 will always be a single energy level. So there will be only one value allowed for capital small j or the capital J for this case. So L equal to 0, and what about the J value? It will be equal to half. Now let us consider L equal to 1 state. L equal to 1 state. So the value of L is equal to 1. Okay, so value of J will be obtained by L plus or minus S. Now S is equal to always half, so plus minus half. Now L is equal to 1. So 1 plus 1 by 2, 1 minus 1 by 2. 1 plus 1 by 2 is equal to 3 by 2. 1 minus 1 by 2 is equal to 1 by 2. So this particular L state will be splitting into two states as told by the multiplicity factor. So the given state will split up into the two states, that is the value of multiplicity factor. So one state will have a value of j is equal to 1 by 2 and the another state will be having a value j equal to 3 by 2. So remember that although this appears as a single state, but this is not the single state, it will be again one more state or one more energy level having the same value of L but different value of j. So here the value of j is equal to 1 by 2 and here the value of j is equal to 3 by 2, right? So this is about the n equal to 2. Now what about n equal to 3? When n is equal to 3, then L will be equal to 0, 1, 2. These are the allowed values for L. Now S is always equal to 1 by 2 in our present case. So L equal to 0 state will split up into only one state, that is half. So you see, first what we have to show, n equal to 3 state will be having the three values of L, that is 0, 1, 2. So 0, 1, 2. L equal to, here L will be equal to 0 and here it will be 1 and here it will be equal to 2. Now L equal to 0 will have only one value of j, that is given by half. So one value of j. L equal to 1 according to the multiplicity factor will have two energy level, for which one energy level will be having the value of j is equal to 1 by 2 and another energy level will be having a value of j that is equal to 3 by 2. So actually L equal to 1 will be two state, one will be having 1 by 2 and another will be having 3 by 2. And when L equal to 2, then the value of j will be equal to again L plus minus S. So 2 plus 1 by 2, that is 5 by 2 and 2 minus 1 by 2, that is 3 by 2. So again this L state for which L is equal to 2 has split up into the two energy levels, one with j equal to 3 by 2, another with j equal to 5 by 2. Okay, so again there will be the two energy levels, this will be equal to 2 and this will be 3 by 2 and this will be 5 by 2. Okay, so value of j and value of L. Alright, so these are the energy levels which we obtained with the application of vector atom model and quantum numbers. Okay, so this particular representation is very confusing, so we will have some another type of representation which is called as term value, Okay, so what is the term value actually? So how we will represent this particular set of quantum number? So we know that L equal to 0, how we represent it? Yes, we will represent it by letter S and its j value is 1 by 2. So this energy level will be represented by S 1 by 2. This energy level will be represented by P 1 by 2. This energy level will be represented by P 1 by 2. 3 by 2. Why P? Because L is equal to 1. So similarly, this is S1 by 2, this is P1 by 2, this is P3 by 2, then this will be D3 by 2 and D5 by 2. Okay, so these are the term values of hydrogen atom. Okay, for n equal to 2 and n equal to 3. So you see, n equal to 2 has split up into these three levels and n equal to 3 will have split up into 5 different energy levels. Now if you want to study that how the electron can jump from one energy level to another energy level, so 5 multiplied by 3, that is 15 transitions are theoretically possible, but we know that all the transitions cannot occur with the nature, right? So we have to apply the selection rules. Now let us apply the selection rules. What are the selection rules? Delta L is equal to plus minus 1, delta S is equal to 0 and delta J is equal to plus minus 1 or 0. Since this particular atomic species is not in the magnetic field, we need not consider this Ml, Ms and Mj. Okay. Now you see, let us consider this energy level. Okay, this energy level, suppose the electron is in this particular energy level and it has to jump to this energy level. So whether this particular transition whether this particular transition is allowed or not, that we have to see. So for this L is equal to 0 and for this L is equal to 1. 0 minus 1, that is minus 1. So delta L is equal to minus 1, so this is allowed transition according to the delta L equals to minus 1. Okay, but all the three sets of quantum numbers should be satisfied, then only particular transition will be allowed. What about delta S? Delta S is equal to 0 according to the allowed transition. Here S is equal to half, here also S is equal to half. Actually for every state S is equal to half, so half minus half will always be equal to 0. So this quantum this selection rule will always be satisfied in the present scenario, right? So we need not consider this. Now let us think about this delta J equal to plus or minus 1. So for this J equal to 1 by 2, for this J equal to 3 by 2. So 1 by 2 minus 3 by 2. So it will be equal to minus 2 by 2 is equal to minus 1. So delta J equal to plus 1 or minus 1. So it is now coming minus 1. So this is also allowed. So this transition is allowed. What about this transition? Whether this transition is allowed or not? L equal to 0, L equal to 1. 0 minus 1 is minus 1. So that is allowed. Again 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2. 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2 is 0. So delta J equal to plus minus 1 or 0. However 0 to 0 transition is not allowed. 0 to 0 is not allowed. But that is not 0 to 0. This is 1 by 2 to 1 by 2 yielding the net value equal to 0. So this is allowed. So this is also allowed. This is also allowed. Now what about this L equal to 0 to L equal to 0? So we have already told you that 0 minus 0 is 0. It is actually undefined, but still we can write it as a 0. But delta L should be equal to always plus 1 or minus 1. So therefore this transition is not allowed. So we will not show this. Okay, we will not show this. Okay, so this level is over. What about this 1 minus 1? You see 1 minus 1 is 0, not allowed. 1 minus 1 is 0, again not allowed. 1 minus 0, that is 1. So this seems to be allowed, and value of J is 1 by 2, 1 by 2. So this is allowed. This transition is allowed only, right? What about this 1 minus 1 is 0, not allowed. 1 minus 1 is 0, not allowed. 1 minus 0, that is allowed. Again 3 by 2 minus 1 by 2. 3 by 2 minus 1 by 2 is again 2 by 2, that is 1. So this is allowed. Okay, so this transition is allowed. What about this 2 minus 1? 2 minus 1 is 1. So it seems to be allowed, but its total quantum number is 3 by 2 minus 3 by 2. Okay, so this is allowed. Now same 2 minus 1, so it is equal to 1. 3 by 2 minus 1 by 2, so it is again equal to 2 by 2, that is 1. So it is also allowed. So this transition is also allowed. Again 2 minus 0, 2 minus 0 is not allowed. Now the last level 2 minus 1, that is 1. So this is allowed. 2 minus 1, that is 1. This is also allowed. 5 by 2 minus 3 by 2 is 2 by 2. And this 5 by 2 minus 1 by 2. 5 by 2 minus 1 by 2. 5 by 2 minus 1 by 2, it is 4. So it will be equal to 2. So this will not be allowed. So which transitions will be allowed? Only 5 by 2 to 3 by 2. 5 by 2 to 3 by 2. This transition will be allowed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So these are the 7 transitions which are now allowed, which seems to be allowed according to the selection rules. But actually the hyperpoint structure of H-alpha line had only 5 lines. Now it is showing the 7 lines. So what about the vector atom model, whether it is true or not? So actually it is true. Once you observe these transitions very carefully, out of these 7 transitions, 2 transitions are identical. 2 transitions are exactly identical. So we have to ignore that. How this is identical? So for that I will suggest you to read more about this. Okay. So for the sake of simplicity, just remember that 2 of these transitions are very identical, and therefore 7 transitions actually reduces to the 5 transitions. Okay. So this is the complete explanation of hydrogen spectrum or H alpha line of the fine structure, right? So in this way, by suitable application of the quantum numbers and vector atom model, we can study or we can explain the existence of nearly all or almost all the atomic spectra, all the spectral lines in case of magnetic field also, or without the magnetic field also. So this is the true application of the vector atom model. Okay, so for now we have just discussed the complete theory of vector atom model. The experimental proof for this vector atom model is given by Stern and Gerlach. So that will be the topic of our next lecture. So till then, thank you.